There are 21 numbers 1 to 21 in a lottery draw. A machine selects the numbers randomly. Find the probability that out of the first two numbers selected, at least one is even, and B, one is odd and one is even. So we first find out how many odd numbers are there, and so if I write the number of odd numbers, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So between 1 and 10 there are 5 odd numbers, and then between 11 and 20 there would be another 5 odd numbers, and then there's one extra odd number, that's 21. So in total you'll have 11 odd numbers, and even numbers again will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's 5 even numbers, so that would be 5. And similarly between 11 and 20 you'd have another 5 even numbers. So the total number of even numbers would be 10. So I write down that 11 and 10. And next I do a tree diagram to find the work out the probabilities. And so you have the first number and then the second number, and the first number is even if the first number is even. The second number could be odd. If the first number is even, the second number could be even. The other one is if the first is odd, the second is even. If the first is odd, the second is also odd. So I write down the probability. So the first number is even. The probability would be 10 out of 21. 21 being the total number of numbers. And the next one is odd. That would be 11 out of 20. 20 because when the first number is selected, the total number of numbers would decrease by 1. So that makes it 11 out of 20. And the next is even. So even and even, the first even number has 10 out of 21 here, and the second even number would be 9 out of 20. So because one even number has already been picked, so the next even number of even numbers left would be 9, so 9 out of 20. So the next we go on to the case of the odd number when the first number is odd. So 11 out of 21, and then even number will be 10 out of 20. 11 odd because there are 10 even numbers and the totals come down by 1, so 10 out of 20. And the number of odd numbers would be 11 minus 1 again, so that's 10 out of 20. So these are the probabilities. Now we got to solve the cases. So then for A, at least one is even. So at least one is even means the first is even, the second is odd. The first is even, second is even. Or the first is even and the first is odd and the second is even. So that's these possibilities, even and odd, and then even and even, and then you have odd and even. So we have to add these up. So that would be 10 out of 11, 10 out of 21 times 11 out of 20. So that's this one. And then 10 out of 21 times 9 out of 20. And then 11 out of 21 times 10 out of 20. We get that. And if you multiply these and add them, you get 31 out of 42. So that's the answer to the first part. And the second part, they're asking one is odd and one is even. So for one odd and one even, so we have to do the even and odd, and we have to do the odd and even. We ignore the other two cases. So we write down even and odd 10 out of 21 times 11 out of 20 plus 11 out of 21 times 10 out of 20, and that would give us 11 out of 21. So that's the answer to both parts.